The opening scene of movie two young girls had just stepped off the plane, the excitement of travel still in their eyes. They shouted out repeatedly, caught up in the bustling airport scene. Honestly, even the busiest airports in real life aren't this chaotic. One of the girls, noticing the moment, offered, "Hey, I'll take a photo for you," handing over her phone. "Ready? Sweet or bitter?" "Sweet," the other replied. It was an innocent, light-hearted moment, but the wrong eyes were watching. A man, whose charm hid far darker intentions, had taken notice. After escorting them to the hotel, he casually invited them to a party, promising to pick them up later. Linda, captivated by his handsome appearance, didn't hesitate to give him her room number, 307. Unbeknownst to them, the nightmare that would define the next few hours was just beginning. A few hours later, Kim was on the phone with her father, giving him a routine check-in, when her heart nearly stopped. From the room across the hall, several men stormed in. Within moments, Linda was seized and dragged away. Kim screamed, terror ripping through her voice, "Dad! What do I do?" Her father, immediately recognizing the danger, grabbed a recording device, though he fumbled with it in panic. "Don't worry, just follow my instructions," he instructed firmly. Kim scrambled under the bed as he spoke, guiding her step by step. "If they grab you, put the phone on the floor. You'll have 5 to 10 seconds. During that time, describe their appearance clearly. Every detail counts." The kidnappers burst into the room exactly as he predicted, their polished shoes clattering across the floor. Kim's father, unable to intervene directly, listened helplessly to her terrified screams. When her voice abruptly stopped, he knew in his gut that the call was now in the hands of the traffickers. Fury surged through him. He grabbed the phone and shouted into it, "I don't know who you are, and I don't care. If you harm my daughter, I will make sure your life becomes a living nightmare. I will find you. Now, come." They had no idea what they were up against. His name was Brian, a retired elite operative, a man whose name had once inspired fear on the battlefield. Now, weary of bloodshed, he had retreated to a quiet life with his family. But the sight of his daughter in peril awakened the beast he had long kept hidden. Without wasting a second, Brian reached out to an old ally, a hacker who had once worked alongside him in intelligence operations. Together, they began tracing the clues. Using the city Kim had been visiting as a reference point, they discovered a chilling pattern. 6 months earlier, a group of Albanian traffickers had arrived in Paris. Their method was precise. They used charming, attractive men to lure young women, with the most beautiful being exported overseas. In the past 6 months, hundreds of girls had disappeared, and not a single one had escaped. On the plane, Brian immersed himself in every sound, every word of the kidnappers' voices, replaying them repeatedly in his mind. Each tone, each inflection, was etched into his memory. His heart raced. "I'm coming for you," he whispered to himself. After landing, he immediately raced toward the location of the abduction. Using his acute mental reconstruction skills, he pieced together the exact sequence of events that had led to his daughter's disappearance. Soon, he found Kim's crushed phone. Through her phone's memory card, he retrieved countless selfies, group photos, and candid images. One particular photo caught his attention. A reflection in the background glass revealed a stranger's face, the same man who had greeted them at the airport, now confirmed as a trafficker. Back at the airport, these traffickers scoured the crowd, seeking new targets. Their gaze landed on blonde, blue-eyed girls with bright, cheerful demeanors, easy marks for their insidious trade. Brian's instincts snapped into overdrive. He immediately tracked the traffickers to their base. Posing as a guest, he moved through the building methodically, room by room, observing carefully. He noticed something chilling. Each girl had tiny puncture marks on her arms, evidence of drugs used to subdue and control them. But when he got closer, the girl in front of him wasn't Kim. He asked where the owner of the clothes was. but the girl was so traumatized she could barely respond. The earlier commotion had also alerted the traffickers outside. Suddenly, they launched an attack. Brian, tears streaming down his face, fired his gun with precision, taking down anyone who threatened the girl. He quickly scooped her into the car, stepping on the gas as bullets rained around him. The car skidded through a perfect drift, crashing through obstacles, sparks flying as Brian maneuvered like a force of nature. A massive explosion erupted behind him, but he drove on coolly, unscathed. Once safe, he brought his daughter to a hotel, tending to her with care. Seeing her finally asleep, he fought the urge to wake her, restraining himself. Hours later, she woke up and explained that the clothes had been given to her by another girl, though she couldn't recall exactly where they had been taken, just remembering a large red gate near Paradise Road. Following her description, Brian quickly located the gate. Knowing the black market there would be heavily guarded, he donned a leather jacket and approached confidently, presenting a fake detective badge and claiming he needed to meet the boss. The traffickers, sensing his authority, didn't dare challenge him and let him inside. As he walked, Brian studied the environment, planning every move. Soon, he arrived at the traffickers' core office. Recognizing the tattoos on their arms, he realized he was one step closer to his daughter. Calmly, he picked up a cup of coffee and spoke with casual authority, claiming he was there to collect his commission for the month, demanding an extra 10% profit as a new employee. Beneath the casual tone, his words carried a subtle but deadly threat. The traffickers, unwilling to escalate the conflict, handed over a sum of money. But Brian wasn't done. He handed a piece of paper to the silent man with the beard, asking him to translate its Albanian contents. As the others glanced at it, they laughed, unaware of what they were dealing with. The words on that paper echoed in Brian's mind. He had memorized every sound of the kidnappers' voices, every threat, every inflection. He scanned the room, confirming everyone's position, then told the bearded man firmly, "I said I will find you." The man froze, reaching for a gun, but Brian acted faster, picking up a knife from the table and subduing him in one swift strike. A precise series of gunshots in close combat followed, eliminating the key threats in the room. Hidden among the chaos, Brian carefully moved, neutralizing enemies while keeping his focus on the ultimate goal, finding his daughter. As he cleared each room, he saw the devastating truth: the young girls, in the prime of their lives, had been horribly abused. Finally, he found Linda, Kim's friend, tied to a bed, her vacant eyes staring at the ceiling, already broken by trauma. The sight steeled Brian's resolve. He could only imagine what had happened to Kim. Armed with electrified devices in sheer determination, Brian interrogated the traffickers, using pain and intimidation to extract information. One revealed that Kim had been sold to an auction house. Ignoring pleas for mercy, Brian powered the device again, pushing the man to compliance. With the crucial information in hand, Brian disguised himself as a server at the auction. Among the wealthy attendees bidding on women, the final lot was Kim. Brian drew his gun, forcing the bidders to comply with his plan. The auctioneer reluctantly started the bidding: 300,000, 350,000, 400,000. Escalating until Brian took matters into his own hands, bidding up to 500,000 himself. Finally, the girl was purchased safely under Brian's control. But just as they were about to leave, he was knocked unconscious. When he awoke, he found himself tied in an underground tunnel. The auction leader, sympathizing as a father but bound by rules, warned him to let the matter go. Ignoring the threats, Brian noticed a loose screw above and seized his chance. Using the smoke and chaos, he neutralized guards, freed himself, and advanced, taking out anyone in his path with deadly precision. Eventually, he located Kim's location, but a final trafficker remained at the front door, alone, surviving enemy. The story made one thing clear: when girls go out, they must never trust strangers. Kim was rescued, yes, but most people don't have a father like Brian. As Brian walked away, his mission complete, he reminded the audience of the stakes: vigilance saves lives, Courage can overcome the darkest of threats, and sometimes, a parent's love is the deadliest weapon of all. But I want to hear from you. Which scene shocked you the most? And do you think Kim's rescue could have been pulled off in real life? Drop your thoughts below. I'm reading every comment. If you enjoyed the recap, don't forget to like the video and hit subscribe so you never miss the next breakdown. See you in the